Well, as the drought intensifies across the country, an army of roaming retirees are offering to help stricken communities led by one of the oldest bush charities in Australia. More than 1,000 grey nomads have joined the fight, carrying out a range of jobs for struggling farmers with the help of Frontier Services.
Yeah, joining us now is Frontier Services Director Janine Jackson. This is a great initiative and it's wonderful, and I think that these older Australians would love being involved, love what they can do.
Look, it's amazing the call that's been answered by our, if you like, the grey nomads.
Yeah.
They've got a whole world of life experience and skills and have the time to be able to give back to our struggling farmers. So they've been an enormous help to us, yeah.
Yeah, because as you said, they're giving an enormous amount back to farmers. So, you know, it is that part of giving, isn't it, that you have that purpose? Yeah,
look, and we have, with the jobs that come from the farmers, they're always very strange and unusual, some of them, but there is actually a job for all of them, regardless of where their skills and capabilities are.
Yeah, and we are the victim of Mother Nature. We can do rain dances and everything else, but no one can make the rain come. But one thing that a lot of these more experienced people can offer farmers is an ear and wisdom of the years, and that is extraordinarily helpful and important, isn't it, when a lot of mental anguish.
Yeah, we deal a lot with mental health and mental health support, and having someone show up at the door and show that they care and have the time to sit and listen. A lot can be done over a cup of tea, and all of us know the joy of being able to sit, chat and share a load. You know, a problem shared is often a problem halved.
It's interesting, isn't it, when you think of how high-tech we are these days and we're accessible to everything. But, yes, we don't have time to actually sit in front of somebody and have that conversation.
Look, the digital divide is actually growing. So when you go out to remote Australia, they're often not as connected as what we are 24/7. So having someone physically there is actually a real sense of hope, being able to just have a chat and talk, but also get stuff done. The practical nature of having someone there to be able to do those jobs that you haven't actually had the manpower or ability to do.
Look, it's history making for all the wrong reasons, this drought, for us as Australians. What are some of, and everyone knows about it, but what are some of the great challenges being faced by farmers?
This drought is providing, well, the Bureau of Meteorology is saying this is probably one of the worst droughts in recorded history. And we've got towns running out of water. So there's things that are unprecedented for farmers right now. So the drought adds additional hours to their day. It's sun up to sundown for some of them. You know, we've got families actually taking kids out to actually do labour because they've got no option. In order to keep the farm running, everyone needs to pitch in and to help.
It is just absolutely devastating. I spoke to our meteorologist here, and some statistics are it is the worst drought on record for New South Wales. Close to 100% of the state is drought declared, and around 66% of Queensland, and no real rain forecast between now and Christmas at least.
It is devastating, and it just adds that additional stressor in terms of people that are already emotionally and financially stressed. So what we're trying to do is give people the opportunity to have some hope somewhere. You know, the hope that you can actually get one job done or turn up and share a meal with somebody. But it's more than that. It's the skills of being able to feel like a job's actually finished. Because when the drought's on, there's often jobs that will backlog. And so at least taking one thing off someone's plate is a mental relief as well.
There has been some criticism of Prime Minister Scott Morrison in and around the package and in and around his presence. Some are saying it's a bit jingoistic. What do you make of it?
Oh, look, you know, from our perspective, we're happy that there has been an announcement for more help and support to help our farmers and those in drought-affected communities, because it's the whole community that's impacted. So from that perspective, you know, we really welcome the fact that there is some attention and there is some funding. I guess as time goes on, we'll see how that unfolds.
Well, should we be spending money trying to help get back to the moon at the moment?
From my perspective, I want to make sure we're helping our farmers. You know, this is where our food comes from.
You've been around for 100 years, not you personally, but was going to say, you look
You've aged well, I tell you. Oh, I love it.
Tell us your secret.
Bit of oil of no.
The organisation has been around for 100. You've been there for 2 years.
Yeah.
And tell us some of the stories, the good stories as well.
Oh, look, we have for 100 years literally being in the middle of Australia. So, where we started by the Reverend John Flynn, who, the man's on the $20 note with an incredible history, going out and supporting people and really offering that sense of connection. And that's what we've always been about, is showing up face to face and connecting those that are the most socially isolated. And so we're there in the middle of the country doing stuff with our traditional owners, farmers, and also some of those fly-in, fly-out workers as well. So those that are really socially isolated.
We're a proud country, and Australians are generous people. So a lot of people watching Weekend Edition today would be saying, well, how can I help? Whether they're in one of the cities or also what can people do when they feel helpless and they see the grim situation?
Look, the short answer is from our perspective, we pretty much have a volunteer job for all. We've got draftsmen working from home at the moment to, people going out for months at a time. People can donate their time, their talents. We'd absolutely welcome anybody to help us with financial support.
That's input. Money's vital. It makes things easier, doesn't it?
Difference. The demand on us is just increasing, and we want to be able to answer all those calls for help. But we're also doing things like holding barbecues. There's barbecues being run right across the country at the moment called the Great Outback Barbecue. So, people can either donate their time, their money, or get some mates around the barbie. Make sure you buy Australian beef, though.
Of course, yes,
Well, Tim made a really good point about, a lot of Australians being proud. What do you do if, somebody needs a hand, but they're just too proud to actually put their hand up?
Oh, look, yeah, we do. We go, we actually have bush chaplains that go around and check on people and their mental health. And they will often turn up to the farm gate and it'll be John that they're talking to and saying, oh, did you check on Fred? He's not doing so well. You get to Fred's and Fred will say, oh, did you check on John? Because he's not doing so well. But both of them will tell you that they don't need help. But it's that relationship, an ongoing relationship, where we actually know that they're not doing so well and what help we can actually do to help them along the way. So they don't necessarily have to say, I'm struggling, but because we've spent the time, we actually know what they need.
And that diversion, you mentioned how much you can offload a burden with a cup of tea and a tea cake. Sport's a great thing like that, but there's other ways to try and get our farmers into another headspace just for a short time. Oh,
absolutely. It is amazing the difference, and the farmers will often tell us having those volunteers there is the best drought relief they've ever had, because sitting down and chatting about someone else's life actually helps you put things into different perspectives and have different conversations about what's going on and help them get to a place where they can start making decisions about what they're going to need to do.
What are the details on how people can help out?
It's really easy. Just go to our website, which is www.frontierservices.org, and all of the details are there. We've got about 40-odd jobs listed at the moment, so if people are interested in volunteering or can donate or register and hold a barbecue.
And it's really interesting as well, just, we had a little bit of rain along the coast a couple of weeks ago, and I spoke to some people and they're like, oh, this is great, drought breaking and so forth. And not putting them down, but it's interesting when you don't actually live there, how many people don't actually realise how severe this drought is.
Oh, we are going to need floods to actually break this drought. This is life-changing, and I think we're not going to understand the impact of it for probably even 7 years after the drought breaks.
Looking at it, and this isn't your area of expertise, but other parts of the world, we look at Los Angeles and other cities, where they have piped water in from other parts of their country. It's never been done here or looked at.
No.
I wonder if that will ever get on the table, or at this point it's just become ridiculously too expensive.
Oh, who knows? But it would be really nice to think that at some point we can actually pipe water to those places that are struggling. I mean, we're actually talking about prime agricultural land at the moment that has never experienced this before. So I guess water security is something that we probably need to put on the table and talk about.
100%. Well, thanks so much for coming in today. And I know people now know how they can help even further.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.